Hey there, listeners. You are listening to Never Seen It. This is a podcast about movies that we haven't seen yet. I am your host today. My name is Betsy, and with me as always is Trent.
Greetings to one and all.
We are going back to the gift that keeps on giving, the year 2002 for our next
Another
movie.
one. Jesus. How many movies have we covered from 2002?
A few. And we're not done. I'm sure we still have some more that we could cover.
We could do an entire series of just 2002 movies that we still haven't seen.
Potentially. But we are continuing on with our random movie watch list because we are just cleaning some things up.
It's the summertime.
It's summertime. It's too hard to plan sometimes. And you just want like a relaxing kind of schedule. And this is the time that we decided we are revisiting something we've done a couple of times just because there is a certain filmmaker that Trent has spent zero time with. So we watched his first movie a few years ago. We watched his second movie last year. So we've decided to bring back M. Night Shyamalan with his third movie from 2002. We are watching Signs.
About our once-a-year visit into the Shyamalaniverse.
Is that what we're calling it?
Yes.
Okay. They might have the fans, the real Shyamalan fans may have a different name for it. So if you
don't care about them.
If you are one of those people, tell us what it is called because I'm too lazy to Google it.
I'm not going to call it that.
But as it happens, this is a movie that I have seen, and in 22 years, Trent has never ever watched this movie.
Nope.
So as always, Trent, I must ask you, what do you know about this movie?
Surprisingly, I know a few things, and I'm going to hold back on one of the items that I know about the ending of the movie. Now, of course, Shyamalan is known and has been known since The Sixth Sense that he wants to include a fucking twist in everything that he does.
He is known as the twist guy.
As the twist guy. So I know something about the ending, but I'm not going to reveal it here just in case somebody out there is playing the Never Seen It home game and also hasn't seen this movie and is going along with the ride with us. But the people in the movie, I know at least a couple of them. One being Mr. Mel Gibson. And we have covered a Mel Gibson movie recently.
Very recently on the Patreon.
Indeed. Well, also on this show, we covered Braveheart.
Yes.
But we said it before and we will say yet again, fuck that guy.
Yeah, we're separating the guy from the movie for this episode.
For this episode, because we are going to do, I guess we should just say, eventually we will do all of the Shyamalan movies on this show.
I think this is the only one he's involved in, though.
Right, but we have to cover this movie, and he is the star of the movie. He is a
part of it, yes.
And we cannot get around that. So, again, we say, fuck that guy. Mel Gibson is in the movie. Also, Joaquin Phoenix is in this movie.
He is.
Now, at this point in 2002, the only other movie that I know that he was known for was Gladiator. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I would say that that's fair. He had been in plenty of movies for the previous decade, but it wasn't until Gladiator that he became kind of a household name. And this was the first big movie he did after Gladiator, to my recollection.
And he was doing about one movie every 2 years that got a lot of notoriety. It was this one, it being the second one, and I think the one after this was Ladder 49, I think is the number. It's that firefighter movie that
I haven't seen it. I don't know.
That everybody's mother has seen. I've seen that movie because my parents wanted to rent it at one point.
Sure.
I saw that one, I think it was in 2004, and it was playing on TV because, of course, we were all up in arms and we were very much wanting to worship those kinds of people. Anyway, Signs. It's about fucking crop circles. It is unexplained phenomenon on a farm, and Mel Gibson is the farmer, I believe, and he is trying to explain what the hell is going on. I don't know if this is all surrounding just him and his family, or if it's like a worldwide thing. Is it getting, news coverage, or is it just this very small story? I have no idea.
I want to ask a question here, but I also want to leave it vague if this is genuinely the only thing you know about this movie.
Again, I don't want to say what I know about the ending And what I know is very minor. And I'm sure it is just one little nugget because I probably like scrubbed through the movie at one point, or I saw the ending on TV at one point. I really do not remember. This movie is over 20 years old.
Well, you know it's about crop circles. Could you make an educated guess as to what that means?
Aliens.
Aliens.
Yeah, you know something about that. You just finished your rewatch of all of the X-Files.
I did. There's some complicated alien lore in that show, but we're not.
I just assumed everything having to do with X-Files is alien related. That's every time you watch that show or you refer to it, I just ask, oh, it's aliens, right?
There's
it's all
a lot.
alien.
There's a lot
David
of
Duchovny, he is an alien, right?
No, David Duchovny is not an alien.
Prove to me he is not an alien.
But also, there is an argument to be made at some point that he could have been turned. It's
See?
fine.
See what I'm saying?
You are intentionally getting us off topic. One day, I'm going to make you watch the X-Files movie.
That's never going to happen.
And you can tell me if everybody in it is an alien. But do you know anybody else who's in this movie, Signs, or any other minor details, memes, stuff that has come out of this movie, or anything that you've gleaned from our previous M. Night Shyamalan movies we've watched that you could say, oh, I'll bet he repeats that trick?
Well, I'm sure he's going to put himself in the movie. That's one thing, because he's always in his movies.
He is a cameo guy, yes.
Yeah. I mean, other than the fucking twist nature of it, I really don't know. I don't remember this movie being the sensation that, especially The Sixth Sense was. I don't feel like Unbreakable was that big of a hit. But again, it was over 20 years ago, so I really do not remember.
And as we keep saying on this show, there's so many movies from 2002 that we just haven't watched because we were going into our senior year of high school and sort of stopped paying attention on both sides. There are movies that you and I, neither of us have seen. So with that, we're going to wrap up this intro. We are going to go watch Signs, and we will be right back. And we are back. Trent, you have now seen Signs. And are you a believer?
Twist! There was a God after all! Jesus. Okay. Shyamalan, number 3. If I'm going to come out and say this is probably number 3 of 3 on my list so far.
If you had to rank them.
If I had to rank them, this is definitely number 3 of 3. I just can't take a movie like this that seriously because the movies that you know that are alien adjacent, let's say, are all about big bombast and CGI, and you know it's a kick-ass time where think about what it is in Independence Day, okay? The entire world is coming together to figure out how to defend ourselves against the alien menace. And it's big explosions, and we go all the way up to the White House, and there's nukes, and there's fighter planes, and big alien spacecraft in the sky. This movie is on a farm in Pennsylvania. And it's a small family in a small town atmosphere, and they need to be involved too.
In defense of the movie, that's kind of the point.
It is.
That's the point.
I'm totally coming at this from, this is a movie that is meant for small town America saying we can fight back against aliens too. It's not just the big city liberals who are going to go out there and fight the aliens.
The aliens are also kind of an afterthought. The movie is about a man who has lost his faith and his family and trying to pull his life back together.
Yes.
And yes, I will agree, of the earlier works and potentially the later ones, I kind of fell off the M. Night bandwagon. This one feels, 22 years later, somewhat heavy-handed.
Uh-huh.
A little bit. And you know, we touched on it. We won't elaborate deeply, but it makes sense that someone like Mel Gibson would pick a role where he is playing, you know, a reverend, a religious figure.
Literally the first note that I wrote, of course he's a pastor. Literally, that is the first thing in my notes.
So there are things that make sense, but yes, it is definitely more about grief and faith than it is about aliens. The aliens are sort of the second thing that we have to worry about, even though that is the major plot point of the film, moving it forward.
It's the big mystery here is what is going on with these fucking crop circles. And this family doesn't want to have any kind of outside influence. They don't want to watch the television. They don't want to watch or listen to the radio of hearing anything else. No, this has to be. They are determined that this has to be some hooligans who are out there trying to cause a ruckus.
The local gang of brothers who just like to cause a scene. They're out here causing trouble.
Yeah, and they will not allow any other outside influence to come into their own brains. But it takes something huge to happen, like, almost an alien invasion, to really get them to buy into, okay, this is more than just our backyard, or our back 40, as it were.
But Trent, I'm listening to you talk about this, and in a lot of ways, I feel like you are this guy where you didn't have, you weren't a pastor and then lost your faith or anything, but you are certainly one that if something like this happens, you are going to say over and over for as long as possible until you have seen undeniable proof that this isn't happening. No, it must be this. You're trying to rationalize it. I could see you being that guy, the pragmatist, the guy that...
I am. Yes, I am the pragmatist. I want to hear all sides of every argument. I want all the facts. Just the facts, man.
Especially with something like this where it's global hysteria. Like the news, it's the 2002 equivalent of... really modern equivalent, the tragedy porn, but there isn't a tragedy yet. I don't know what you call it, conspiracy porn, I guess.
So the vibes I got here, especially when they start talking about being obsessed, like getting obsessed with an event that is happening.
Watching it 24 hours on the news.
And that's what happened after 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
That is the tragedy porn that everybody kind of got addicted to for a little while, me included. I was glued to the fucking TV for weeks because... number one, they didn't take it off the news. And number two, really right off the bat, it was on everything. Like if you had cable, which I know you didn't, even all of the cable networks were preempted by, if you were owned by a Paramount network. So like MTV was owned by Paramount, or a Viacom is the actual company. If you're a Viacom-owned station, you had the CBS News on. And same thing applies to all of the other stations out there. You could not avoid what was happening. So this is kind of the vibes that I was getting here with Joaquin Phoenix just being glued to the TV, trying to analyze little minute details that he's seeing on the TV, just like everybody else is. But this is just, it's not really on the wide internet yet. Like they don't have computers in this movie. Obviously, they don't have smartphones or anything like that. It is just the very tiny world that they live in. TV and radio.
And that's what makes it interesting about setting it out in the middle of Pennsylvania. It's a rural community, a rural community.
Very rural.
I often ask, and I've brought this up on the podcast before, in movies where there is an alien invasion, would we or would we not be safe in a place like South Dakota? And of course, the big reveal at the end of this movie, which you whispered to me after we finished recording the intro, you did know this movie had something to do with water.
Yes.
There is this plot twist that, we don't think the aliens like water very much. Well, unfortunately for us, we are quite landlocked where we live. And, they spend a lot of time running around in corn. So in this alien invasion movie, I am concerned that we are fucked.
No, totally. We are completely fucked. And then this case, like they discover here, they're coordinating their attack, let's say, by these crop circles, which is kind of dumb. When you really think about it, you think an alien race having fucking spacecraft, you don't think that they can communicate, not with crop circles. You don't think that they can triangulate everything themselves?
They need a landing path, apparently. Or they just need to say, this area free from water. Like we need to put it in the grass so you know that what's on the ground is a physical thing.
This is a safe zone.
Well, especially because on planet Earth, we're 70% water or something?
A whole lot of water around here.
So it would make sense that the aliens are probably not going to land on the island of any of the islands in Hawaii.
No.
Or, the Philippines or any place that has thousands of island chains.
Archipelagos are
Yes.
your friend.
You're probably going to be okay. However, if you live in bumblefuck Australia or in the middle of Russia, anywhere that is extremely landlocked,
Yeah.
the aliens be coming for you.
These aliens, anyway.
These aliens. And they establish quickly that they are hostile. And I do appreciate the through line of Mel Gibson, the skeptic, because, of course, he is a man at this point that is just going to refuse to believe this is happening. And his son is reading this book. And it's very fair of him to be like, how would you even know that? This guy who's writing this book, why?
Yeah.
How could you possibly know? But it's all just kind of rational. Like, why would aliens invade planet Earth? There aren't that many reasons. It probably isn't going to be by mistake. The aliens aren't just wandering by and go, that looks like a place to land. Let's go. They justify it by saying it's either they are out to expand the horizons of space exploration.
Yeah, they're just explorers.
And establish, we exist in the universe and we want to help.
We come in peace.
Expand your minds, as it were.
Yeah.
Or they're hostile. The fact that they spend so much of this movie talking about the aliens, and you read that the aliens are only on screen for like a minute and a half.
A minute and a half of the entire movie.
And they never actually appear on screen for more than a few seconds until like an hour plus into the movie.
Yeah, they're shown in very quick shots on TV and with like the fucking leg coming out of the corn. They're on screen just a few seconds there. It's not until an hour and a half into this hour and 45-minute movie where you actually see them on screen. And even still, they're only on there for a minute and a half.
But that is an old filmmaking trick.
Absolutely.
Like it is much more effective to tell you and not show you. Like, you are building the tension this entire movie by not giving you very much. That is the way movies used to be made. We didn't
That's how
show
you had to make them.
Yeah, we didn't show you the alien at the beginning of the movie. M. Night Shyamalan wanted the aliens to be invisible. Like, you actually would not see the alien, but they couldn't figure out a good way to do it in 2002.
Well, and think about the original Alien, where you don't actually see the aliens almost as little as what you saw them here.
Yeah, you hear noises and you
Yeah.
see shadows and you see your little dots on screens representing the alien.
But also, you get the added bonus of you being in space and you cannot escape in that movie. This, it's bumblefuck nowhere and it's small town America. You have infinite ways that you could try to escape, but they choose to stay at home.
But you also kind of can't escape because you're so far away from things. Where are you gonna go?
To the water, I
if
don't
you
know.
think about where we are, we're in the middle of a town, but there are thousands of people who live around us who are 5, 10, 20, 50 miles from the nearest community.
Right?
So if an alien lands within a mile of your house, where the fuck are you gonna go?
You get in the car and you drive.
Yeah. But,
Really?
But again, the whole point of this is they don't want to leave home because this is where we lived with mom. It's all about the family and they don't want to give up on this spot, even though dad turns out to be right based on a hunch, on a hunch of a guy he doesn't really want to interact with.
Yeah, and I don't really know what to feel about. I mean, yes, the entire point of the movie is him losing his faith and throwing it back in people's faces saying, I am not a reverend anymore. Please stop calling me father. It's been 6 months. I am not your spiritual guide anymore because I can't even do it myself.
Yeah. I don't want to deal with your fucking problems because I haven't gotten over my own.
Exactly. So I understand that that is the kind of the point of the movie, but them also including these flashbacks to the accident and including M. Night Shyamalan himself as the person who killed the woman. What I don't understand is how is this, okay, I'm being serious now. What is the twist here? Is there a twist, or is the twist that there is no twist?
So I think the twist is that miracles are real and there's no such thing as coincidence.
Right.
So it's all these little things that they've set up throughout the movie. Like apparently Abigail Breslin is psychic because she has visions.
Because she's a small child.
She's a small child who can see the future in her dreams,
Check.
obviously. She has a thing about water and she's had it her entire life. And so the house is scattered with glasses, half-drunk glasses of water.
This is contaminated.
Yeah, she has weird affectation about water. The little boy has asthma. because his wife died, when she died, she was saying all these things. And at the time, Mel Gibson's character is reading it as she was dying because her body was severed in half and her brain is just firing on all neurons and just random memories are popping into her head.
Which, by the way, just the visuals of that. I know they didn't they didn't show anything there, but oh my fucking God. I mean, I've played a lot of video games and I've seen a lot of war movies, and that's fucking grisly.
It was a really horrific way for his wife to die.
Yes.
So
and just the fact that he is talking to this woman and half of her is hanging off of her, and if they move the car, it's all done for.
Right. But there's also the fact that his brother was a minor league baseball player who was a hell of a hitter.
Sure.
So there's all these little things, and they all have relevance. By the end of the movie, it's not about him. Like his whole thing, his wife said to him, see. All he has to do is look around and make the connection.
What is going on here.
Yeah, he has to make the connection. And he takes a look around the room and he sees the bat. And it's not until the alien knocks down one of the glasses of water that they suddenly have this aha moment where they realize this. And so, yeah, the twist is a little different than some of the other ones. It's more of we were showing you things along the way, and oh, big twist, it's nothing like what you thought it was. The twist is we've been showing you things along the way, and everything has significance because it's important to believe in something, or there is no such thing as coincidence.
But Betsy, that's what a movie is. Laying the breadcrumbs, laying the groundwork of whatever it is that you're going to have at the end of the movie as the big reveal, as your ending. And there's nothing special about it.
I mean, the twist also is the aliens have left, and there's one in their house. There's still one there. There's the killer is still in the house.
He's after revenge because he lost a couple of fingers.
Well, like another horror movie trope, one last scare. The killer needs to give you one last scare, and this is kind of that equivalent.
Yeah, you also have to have the encounter. Of course you do. You have to see the alien. You have to have the encounter with the alien, because why else have aliens if they're not going to be on screen?
Yeah, we've spent the entire movie talking about aliens and getting little glimpses. Here's a hand here, some fingers there, a leg, a shadowy outline on the top of the barn.
Yeah, clearly they are there. They exist. So you need to actually look. So, okay, I think it might have been even a better movie if they never showed it at all. Like, I know we're going to completely change the movie in its entirety, but from my mind, I think it would have been better if there were no aliens whatsoever and it actually was an elaborate hoax, even like a worldwide hoax. That would have been so great.
I would be okay with if he had been able to execute it in some way to have the aliens truly be invisible, because the whole point is this man has no faith. If the aliens were completely invisible, he would really, really have a hard time being convinced that they're real. And for him to get to the end of that movie and believe it without seeing it would have had more impact than, a 7-foot alien that his face appears on because they're chameleon aliens.
I've got it.
Chameleons?
I've got it, Betsy. No, not at all. The aliens are God, because he needed to see them in the flesh, as it were, before he would believe in them.
Well, that's a bad Christian if you have to see it to believe it. That's like the whole point.
It's the whole point of the faith. And I don't have any of that, by the way. So, okay, I'm not going to say this is a bad movie. I laughed at a lot of it because I thought it was just ridiculous.
There are some genuinely funny moments also that are supposed to be funny.
Like the shot of them in the tinfoil beanies, I think was really funny. I've seen that shot before plenty of times, but in the movie, it's even better. But I think the issue is, I don't know if he was trying to be funny at all in this movie. I feel like he just tried to play this so straight, and I don't think it comes through. If there is humor, it's unintentional.
No, there are some moments in this movie that he is trying to be funny. Like when they're at the table at the beginning and they say, so far it was very dark. And she's trying to get a description of this man who was around their house.
Oh, that was an interesting scene.
Yeah, they just keep coming back to, it was very dark. Like they just have nothing else to say.
Yeah, and them going back and forth, that was okay. What I did not like about that scene, by the way, is how everything was framed. Like the camera is basically at a chair on the side of this long table, and it just keeps panning from left to right between the cop and Joaquin Phoenix, and then Mel Gibson comes in, and it was just strange to me. I didn't like that.
They weren't panning the whole time. There were cuts. Do you mean like
there were cuts here?
I
and
don't
there.
remember them turning the camera.
I feel like a lot of the shots here were just slow pans across this thing and then slow pans back.
Again.
And also Joaquin Phoenix turning his head very slowly up to the baseball bat on the wall. And maybe he was being slow because there's a fucking alien in their living room, so that to not have any sudden movements.
I'm giving this all again to M. Night Shyamalan being a student of Hitchcock and old scary movies.
And that's completely fine. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I've just never seen any of those movies.
But this is the way you used to make movies, where you can't see what's going on. We don't want you to see what's going on, but we want you to follow it with your eye. Because as the aliens start to invade and they're outside of their house, you see a shadow, they're panning, and you can see you're following the track of the alien without seeing the alien. And then when they get to the door and you start hearing a banging, you know that alien is right there in front of the door.
Yeah, and I think I'm coming from this from... I mentioned it before, the Independence Day kind of an alien movie where there's a lot of action. The camera movements of an action movie are completely different than a movie like this, where the point is that you don't see it. If he really wanted to show you the alien and what they look like and what they're doing, we would have known that these are aliens all along. But up until, I don't know, about an hour into the movie, you still really don't know for sure what it is.
You haven't had a good look at it, no, but that's what makes it scarier, because you don't know.
Okay, here's a question. Do you think that he was trying to make this a scary movie, or is it just more uneasy and you're having questions about what it actually is, or is it a mystery?
I don't think it's supposed to be like horror film scary, but I do think he's trying to build tension. Like, there is a lot of really intense scoring in this movie. Like, the actual score, I said it right at the beginning, the movie starts with kind of a bang.
Yeah,
as
that
the
was
credits,
fantastic.
As the credits are rolling, James Newton Howard is the composer here. He was told explicitly to basically rip off Psycho, like take the Bernard Herrmann style music from those kinds of old scary movies and make it his own. And when it comes out, it is loud and screechy, and it's just very, very unnerving.
It's very evocative of like late 70s and early 80s kinds of movies.
Yes.
And I really like that. That's great.
But in between times, there is a lot of silence to build the tension in this movie. There are several moments where even now, I don't know how many times I've seen this movie. I was feeling myself kind of holding my breath a little bit, because I haven't seen this movie in probably 15 years. It's been a long time since I watched Signs. But there were moments where I was like, what's going to happen? Even though I know what's going to happen, I can't help it. And I think it's just the skill with which he held back at moments where he used the quiet to build the tension versus using the music. But there are also times where that score is like, the killer is in the house and he is coming to get you. You're in the shower kind of sounds.
Right. And even when they know, when Mel Gibson knows that there are aliens and they're coming after them, they're in the house. When they go down to the basement, this is maybe just an acting choice that I do not agree with. When they finally get down to the basement and Mel Gibson is coming down the stairs, literally, he's coming down the stairs.
He's strolling down the stairs.
He's just kind of coming down the stairs like it's nothing. Whereas there's a fucking alien in your house. How are you not just frantically coming down there and skipping every other step?
Running. The word you're looking for is running.
Yes. It's just a little inconsistent when you have some actors who are very intensely looking at things and kind of being freaked out, and Mel Gibson, who is just kind of, okay, we're just going to go into the basement now.
Well, speaking of inconsistent mood shifts, we need to take a break for a quick word from our sponsor. What's the matter, Billy? You look bored just sitting there clicking that pen.
Well, Becky, I've already listened to this week's episode of Never Seen It, and there's nothing left for me to do. Guess I'll just sit here and click this pen until next Sunday.
Wait, Billy, what if I told you that the Never Seen It crew puts out 4 other shows every month?
4 shows? How do I get those?
It's easy. Just go to patreon.com/neverseenitpod, and for $5 per month, you get access to all their extra content.
Wow, that sounds a whole lot better than clicking this pen.
It sure does, Billy. It sure does. Before we move along too far in this conversation, I want to share with you a memory because I saw this movie in the theater. And this is a thing that will stick with me probably for the rest of my life because it was fucking hilarious.
Oh, God.
So you saw how this movie begins with the big score, and it's just like Mel Gibson, fade out. Joaquin Phoenix, fade out. Signs, it's just the names, the title cards.
Yep.
And then it cuts to Quiet Life on the Farm. And Mel Gibson wakes with a start. It's like the morning, and he hears a noise that startles him awake. Okay, so he's out of frame. He sits up and goes,
Yeah, they're very jumpy in this movie.
okay. When I saw this in the theater, some woman in the space, in this completely silent theater, he sits up and she goes, oh my God. And everybody laughed because she was so already invested in being scared at this movie that she basically scared herself. And it's to this day probably the funniest thing that I've ever seen happen that doesn't fit the movie we're watching. And every time I've ever watched this movie since then, and the movie begins and he sits up, I think of that woman.
Oh my God. Oh, that's really good.
It's such a stupid memory, but I will never give that one up.
Oh, that's really funny.
But that being said, I don't have a lot of other memories around this movie. I remember liking it. As I said, I've seen this many, many times. I think it's all right. As I've gotten older, I've gotten less enthusiastic about it because I've seen a lot more movies that have frankly done it better. And as I mentioned before, it's a little heavy-handed watching Signs, but there are moments in it that I think are good. I think the casting is actually pretty good. There are some funny scenes. So we talked about the lead, Mel Gibson, and then Joaquin Phoenix, but there are two kids in this movie.
Yeah.
It's his son and daughter, and his son is played by yet another Culkin.
I did not know there was yet another Culkin actor.
Yep, this one's Rory, and it was shocking to me to find out he existed because if you look at this movie and see how old he is in 2002, and then think about how old Macaulay was in 2002.
Totally.
That's an age gap. There's quite a few years in between them, but this is his brother. I think Rory's the youngest or certainly one of them.
Sure. Speaking of age gaps, there is an 18-year age gap between Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix. These two are playing brothers, by the way. Now, normally, you would have maybe a question about that because I did not know going in that these two are brothers. I thought he was just a very adult son of Mel Gibson.
Oh, God. I mean, you could interpret it that way.
I had no idea how old Joaquin Phoenix was. I had to look it up. He was 28.
Yeah.
He didn't look 28.
How old did you think he was?
I thought he was like 20.
Younger.
Yeah, much younger. But you see what I mean, though. If Joaquin Phoenix is here and the mother is dead, it would make sense that the oldest son would come back to help out with the family. But in this case, I don't actually know why the brother moves back in. Is it because of the mother dying?
Yeah,
or
Trent,
is his life just kind of fucked up?
That too, but I think it's mostly this was a really, really traumatic thing that happened to them.
Totally.
And when they actually explain what happened, because you observe early on in the movie that mom is clearly not here, and there are little signs, that something is up with this guy. Like in the picture, he is dressed with the collar. He's wearing all black with his collar, and he does not wear that. When they show him in the bathroom, he's like brushing his teeth, and he steps out of the bathroom. On the wall, there is a stain on the wall where a cross used to be.
Right.
So he has taken the cross down. So there are subtle little things throughout the movie to say, okay, well, he's having a hard time. Because when they get to it and they say it was the veterinarian in town and he fell asleep at the wheel. It wasn't drunk driving. It was just an accident.
Yep.
It happened. When he explains it himself, he says, I've never had that happen before. And I drove for miles and barely passed a car. It had to be that 10 to 15 seconds when I was passing her and she was just out for a walk. And she loves to walk. So it's that thing again of there are no coincidences. This was destiny for it to happen, that he was going to fall asleep, that it was going to happen here. And yet she gets really fucked up. She's pinned against a tree, and if they move the truck, it's just going to kill her in a second.
Yeah.
So they instead let her stay there until her husband gets there so he has a chance to say goodbye, which is a charitable thing to do, but also no matter what, this is a terrible outcome. So this is a traumatic fucking thing for this guy to go through, for this family to go through. So his brother came to stay with them. Like, he even says, I don't know if this is helping. And the local cop says, it's helping. This guy is fucking inconsolable, basically. He is so full of anger at God that he is kind of fixated on that instead of the stuff in the here and now that matters.
Yeah, and there's even references here of, okay, the dog is acting strange. And the kid says, well, can we call the vet? And he says, no, we cannot call the vet.
And we don't know why at that point in the movie.
Right.
But it's a small town. There's only one vet.
Of course. And even in the occasion where the vet calls the house, he didn't want to call the house. But because he was experiencing this stuff and it's probably spread around town that he's maybe witnessed one of these things, the vet calls him. And of course, it's M. Night Shyamalan himself.
It's kind of in a panic. He says,
Yeah.
I've had your phone number next to the phone for months, and I wanted to call and talk to you because he is just completely guilt-stricken.
Absolutely.
As anybody would be. It was an accident. Like, you didn't mean to kill this woman, and he was unharmed. He survived without a scratch, basically.
Yeah, and, you know, I haven't experienced this myself, but a dear friend of mine was killed in a very similar way. Early morning, she and her husband got up to go south to go to a grandmother's funeral in Kansas City. He was driving, fell asleep at the wheel, went across the median, hit somebody else's car, head on. Both of the passengers ended up dying. And he walked away with just a broken leg. And that's a fucking devastating thing to have happen. Your wife, you are responsible for the death of your wife. And it is literally just an accident. You fell asleep at the wheel. And what do? How do you handle that? You're not under arrest. You're not going to go to jail. It's just a mistake. So I can see what happened.
But yeah, in this moment when he is basically kind of looking down the metaphorical barrel, his life is in peril because an alien has gotten into his house and is trying to kill him.
Yeah.
In this moment, he says, I need to make it right. He has just enough sense about him, even though it doesn't make sense, that that's the phone number he calls. But he has that opportunity to look him in the face and say, I'm sorry for what I did to you and for what I've put your family through.
This is maybe the only time that they've actually spoken, because at the the accident scene, he's just kind of catatonic, sitting on the ground.
He's in shock.
Yeah, not knowing what the hell just happened. And it's very unlikely that they would have spoken or even seen each other on site, much less, after that or at a funeral or anything like that. I don't think he would have participated, and I know we're getting too deep into this.
But no, that's why it's significant when they see him on the street. They all kind of stop and just look at each other. Because what else do you do? It's a small town. Inevitably, statistically, you are going to see this person.
Absolutely.
You don't have to talk to him if you really don't think you're up to it.
And that makes sense that the little girl doesn't know what the significance is of this guy.
She doesn't know who this man is.
Yeah. And now that I've seen the movie, I know it's weird that he puts himself into every one of his movies, and it's I can't get over that because I don't know.
Let me speak to this because you've now watched 3 of his movies.
Yep.
In the first one, he has like a tiny scene. I don't even remember where he is.
Very minor.
In the second one, he's got a very tiny scene. But this is the first one where he has a significant role. His role has a lot of importance. And spoiler alert, he kind of does this again where he gives himself a very important piece in the puzzle in a later movie. I'm not going to elaborate because we will get to those eventually. But that's more what bothers me. It's not that he's in it. It's the significance that he gives himself in the movie.
It's not just a walk-on part. He is playing the heavy in that he's the bad guy. You're allowed to hate him as a character.
But he's not a bad guy.
He's not, but he's the guy who ends up killing someone accidentally.
Right, but there are so many hardworking actors in the world that could have given this scene so much impact and so much gravitas.
You're right.
If they had put somebody opposite Mel Gibson who was like toe-to-toe important like he was at that time.
Yeah.
Imagine the impact if it had been somebody in 2002 and you saw them and went, holy shit, it's that guy. And that, like some Oscar-nominated actor.
And people have been nominated for Best Supporting Actor for less than what he was on screen for.
Yeah.
But you know what? Because he's the director, I just can't take him seriously.
It's really difficult because this is also where the idea of M. Night Shyamalan and his own self-importance was kind of starting to be born.
And we've covered this
Go back and
intently.
Listen to those other episodes. We touch on it, but this is really the movie where we start tiptoeing into, really?
It's oh, come on, man.
Really?
Get your ass out of this movie.
He's not the worst he could be. Like, this could be way worse.
He was fine. But like you said, you could have put somebody else in this movie that wasn't a distraction. I'm distracted by you. I know what your face looks like.
Yeah. And at that point, we already did. And it's not like Hitchcock. I know he fancies himself a little bit of an Alfred Hitchcock. Hitchcock was in the background. He was crossing the street. You'd barely see him and the scene would be over. He never had lines. He wasn't important enough to be...
It's the thing where you just point and say, ha, I saw him.
It's the Where's Waldo of Hitchcock
movies.
movies.
And that's, I like that. But you don't have the background as an actor. You don't have the background like a George Clooney does when he starts to go off and make movies and put himself in his movies. That's different. He is known as an actor. M. Night Shyamalan is this nerdy guy who wrote a bunch of movies and somehow they gave him money to start directing. Who knew?
And this movie was, you said at the beginning you didn't know how big a hit it was. This was a big hit. And his previous two movies, like his first movie was a smash. Unbreakable was less successful, but then this was like the comeback. Like, oh, hey, it's the new movie from that guy that made that one movie a couple years ago we really liked. We won't talk about Unbreakable. But he was really cranking them out at this point because then, The Village comes out not that many years after this one. It was kind of every 2 years, boom, boom, boom.
And then he really started to slow down.
Yeah.
After, I think, 2010, 2012, it really started slowing down.
After a couple of duds, he sort of went away and reset. And as I understand it, his more recent stuff has actually been pretty decent. And I would really eventually love to get to those, if only as a case study to see the early work to now. Because he did have that sort of gap in between where he got to mature as a filmmaker. And I hope that he learns some lessons about his own ego and stop making it about him. Because it does take you out of signs that, they're in this restaurant eating pizza and they notice a man on the street and your brain goes, what the fuck?
Totally. And I was kind of laughing at it like, okay, you're referencing this guy, like they all know him except for the girl, and seemingly it is a serious thing. I did have it in the back of my mind that maybe he had something to do with it and they hadn't really referenced what happened to the wife yet.
It's a slow reveal.
Yeah.
When they finally get to it, it takes a long time.
And then they all of a sudden have this flashback with no indication that it was a flashback other than the fact that he's wearing the collar.
Which, if you're a smart moviegoer, you understand what that means. But the average moviegoer might go, huh?
Yeah.
What?
So I know we're way off, just talking about whatever now, but I do want to talk about something that I do really like.
Hit me, Trent.
I think, if I'm not wrong, this is the second movie that we have covered for this show where a group of people come together to have a final meal. The other one being Don't Look Up.
Another end of the world type movie.
It's another apocalyptic movie where you think you're having your last fucking meal. And I'll tell you this, I really liked their choices for their final meal, especially the boy, because he wants fucking French toast and mashed potatoes at the same time.
Dad says, what do you want for dinner? And the little girl, Bo, played by Abigail Breslin, which we haven't really called her out. This was her very first movie, and she is teeny tiny and cute as a button. But she says, I want spaghetti. When her brother says, no, that'll take too much time.
We're going to make sandwiches. It'll be fine.
Dad says, no. You know what? Spaghetti sounds great.
What do you want?
What do you want? French toast and mashed potatoes. Cool.
I said, hell yeah, kid.
Hell yeah. And then Merrill, his brother, what do you want? Chicken teriyaki. That's a great choice. And he's going to have a cheeseburger with bacon.
extra bacon.
And they actually take the time to make all of this food, and then nobody fucking eats it.
Yeah, and there is a tension here, and I'm really glad that they really leaned into it, because everybody's on edge here. Everybody knows that there's fucking aliens.
It's going to happen
They're
any
coming
minute.
tonight. So we're going to put whatever effort that we still have in our bodies into this food. And they finally get to it. And the boy suggests, okay, let's make a prayer. And this is just bringing up all of the other trauma that Mel Gibson has had and saying, I'm not going to waste another minute on any kind of prayer. You know, just humor your kid. Let him do it. Do it for a second. It's not going to hurt you. You don't have to mean it. Just do it.
But that is
just
how
can't do it.
That is how set he is, that he
Yes.
hates God right now.
Yes.
And he's like rage cries into his mashed potato.
So if you're not gonna eat it, I'm gonna have a little bit of everything. So he grabs his fork and starts stabbing food.
And everybody else is crying, and then they have a big group hug and they all cry together.
I like how he grabbed Joaquin Phoenix and says,
Yes.
"Get the fuck over here."
You're a part of this. Get over. But
Yeah.
then the aliens show up. So they have to dramatically, tonally shift this movie
But that's
stop
the thing,
worrying
though.
about it.
They all come together. That is their moment, and I really appreciate that. It's a great family moment.
Yeah, they do finally overcome all of the things they've been going through. Like, even the kids are having a hard time. The little boy is old enough to know that his dad has changed. And he makes comments like, I wish you were my dad, meaning his uncle.
Yeah.
Who tells him, don't you ever say that.
Absolutely.
Not ever.
Yeah, and I think that was a really powerful moment. I don't really know what else to say about it other than that. And the fact that you, as the younger brother, which, hey, by the way, I'm kind of in the position of Joaquin Phoenix here. I am the youngest of three. I have two older half brothers. One of them is 10 years older. The other one is like 14 years older.
Yeah, there is a gap and you didn't grow up together.
We did not grow up together. I'm the youngest. So I can relate to that portion of it, and maybe not having the same kind of connection that you would normally have with a brother or sister that you grew up with. Like, these two actors are 18 years apart. So I can see how these two people would have a harder time connecting, but still have that family thing there.
Yeah, they have a different kind of relationship than people who grew up in the same house at the same time.
Yeah, it's more of a friendlier thing rather than a familial one.
Mm-hmm. You know, at the end of the movie, when we get this shift, Graham suddenly cracks back open, where he tells his kids all the things he should have told them years ago. And he finds his way back to having faith in something. And so, of course, the movie ends. And I know you have a thought about this, because we have this miraculous moment where they defeat the alien. He injected his poison into the boy, but Mel Gibson says his lungs were closed. That's why he had asthma. He wasn't breathing when the poison gas got into him. And so he's fine. And they're all okay. The aliens have left because they've been defeated. And then there's this pan through the bedroom. And then when we get to the window, there's snow. So time has passed. And we get that shot of the outside of the bathroom. And you said, he's going to come out in that fucking collar, isn't he?
I looked over to you and I said exactly that, Betsy. He's going to come out in that fucking collar, isn't he?
And he does. And then fade to black.
That's
like,
it.
Genuinely, that's it. There's no little button or anything. It's just he's back on track and life moves on.
Like I said, the twist is there is a God.
Or the twist is God was inside you all along or something. I don't know.
No.
Well, Trent, before we completely wrap this up, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about as it pertains to signs?
Who names a dog Houdini? Really, that's all I had.
Children name. It is impressive, Trent. You appreciate that any movie, when they're brave enough to kill the kid, like they don't kill a kid in this movie, but they do kill both the dogs.
Right. I don't like how he framed the shot when the second dog was under attack and you could hear it outside, and the camera is literally just zooming into an empty wall because that's the general vicinity of where the dog might be getting killed.
Behind the house, over in that direction.
Yeah. Like, I know you're not going to want to see a dog killed by anything.
But again, it's more impactful when you aren't seeing all this stuff happen.
You're right.
That is the whole point of it. There's actually a book about like screenwriting.
Yeah, I saw you read this. Yeah,
And it's called, I think, Kill the Dog. Like literally the title of the book is something like Kill the Dog.
Maybe it's not. Okay, never mind. I was thinking of something else, but
But
elaborate.
no, there is literally, it's just one of the rules of screenwriting where it's like, I think the lesson in it is have some balls.
Yeah.
If you think that dog needs to die, kill the dog. Don't feel like, well, it's a dog and I feel bad and I don't want the dog to die.
Or you don't want to insult your readers or offend your readers or anything like that. No, fuck it. Just do it and it'll have more impact. What I've said many, many times on this show is I appreciate any kind of media, whether it be a film, a TV show, a book, whatever. If you have the balls to kill a child in whatever capacity it is, whether it is illness or murder or accident or whatever.
Same goes for a dog, though.
Yes, but to a lesser extent.
Or a main character. Like anytime that you are shocked by an event, then you are probably doing something right as far as being a screenwriter.
I mean, you could just extrapolate that and just say, do something completely unexpected. Like if you are killing off your main character in the first 10 minutes of the movie and you are not expecting that whatsoever. You know, when Ned Stark died at the end of season 1 of Game of Thrones, that's a big surprise.
10-year-old spoiler. So sorry, guys.
Oh, fuck that.
Like you didn't know. Like you didn't know
Like
that's what happened.
Yes. But no, that is all I had to say about Signs. Again, I don't hate this movie. I think I had some fun with it. I had to make my own fun with this movie because it was never going to be my cup of tea. I'm looking forward to doing more because this is fun. I like doing this with his movies in particular because they are so unique. They are his.
It's also the difference between, is this one you can really make fun of, or are there just parts of it you can make fun of? Like, I think up to this point, it's a little bit of both. Like, with the exception of The Sixth Sense, I feel like when you come out the gate with that movie, anything after that, the bar has been raised. Not by you per se, but everybody's perceptions of you as a filmmaker.
Totally. And if you completely shit the bed in subsequent films, guess what? We get to ridicule you.
Yeah, we get to rip into you, which is why I think he pulled back and maybe went away for a little while.
Yeah, it got to me be a little bit too much, maybe.
Well, and it's so weird because now we've gotten so far removed from those first movies. He has a grown-up daughter who is also making movies now.
Really? That.
Oh yeah, she came out with her feature film debut, I think, this year.
Oh fuck.
So
right.
that's how much time has passed since he started making movies in the 90s.
I don't need to be reminded, Betsy.
Well, fair enough.
Time passing.
But we would like to know, were you reminded of the time that you watched Signs in the theater? Are you a fan of M. Night Shyamalan?
Were you the woman in the theater who was surprised?
Yeah, was that you? Please tell me. I would love to meet you and hear your firsthand account of what was going through your mind. Please send us an email at neverseenitpod@gmail.com. We got such an email from our friend Mitch from Saskatoon, who has been going through just a myriad of films this summer. He's going through his own summer watch list.
Yeah, he's going through the backlog.
And catching up on some of our other episodes. So he sent us an email called Challenge Accepted Brick. What did he mean by that? Well, I'm about to tell you. He begins, "Hello, Trent and the wonderful Betsy."
Aw, I'm not wonderful.
You're fine. In your Brick episode, you said no one was going to go watching Brick or something to that effect.
No, I said I didn't think that we were going to have a whole lot of people listening to the episode because it wasn't a widely seen movie. That's all.
I think it was more the fact that you said it late in the episode.
It's true.
But he says, so I naturally went to Prime, looked it up, and immediately started watching it after your episode. Meaning he watched the movie.
He was one of those people. Yeah.
Yes. There are people out there who just listen to listen.
That's
and
cool.
More power to you. But I can't. The way my brain works, if you explicitly spoil a movie, if there is a big twist, like if you told me exactly what happened in Signs and I had not seen it, I would remember. That's it's my blessing and my curse.
It depends on how long ago it was and if I am planning to watch it right away, but I am a lot less sensitive to spoilers than you might think. I kind of don't care. Like I knew about the water, I knew about the aliens before I sat down to watch this movie, and it did not affect me one bit.
I think it depends on the kind of spoiler. If it's going to ruin your fucking movie, like Bruce Willis was dead the whole time, that's different than water. Like all you knew was water. You didn't know what it meant. You just knew there was something with water.
I did.
That's a different kind of spoiler.
All right.
Anyway, back to his email. So he watched Brick and he said, I found it very interesting. Lots of cool stuff going on. I agree it could get polished, but it's better than you guys even admit to on the first watch. There are times that the actors talk way too fast and the shots go super quick. But Rian Johnson was definitely advanced for his first film.
Agreed.
I would love a remake now. He would make this film even more tremendous. I'm not sure how to do payphones. Burner cell phones? Setting it in 2005 may just be easiest. All I know is I now want to walk with a cane and a cape. Great pick for a movie, guys. More films to come. Mitch. Mitch? Mitch.
Thank you, Mitch.
Literally, that is how he punctuated his message.
Indeed. Yeah, I do like that thought experiment of the filmmaker remaking his own film, his own first film, to bring it into whatever skills that he has learned over the decades.
How to polish it up, yeah. We also got a message about Brick from another listener on Instagram. This is from Blake.
Blake on Brick.
He said, my thoughts are too long to post in that questionnaire.
All right, well, thank you for writing in.
I think this is a very good debut. Fascinating way to interpret film noir by setting it in high school, but still using old slang in the dialogue. Lovely movie, but I do think it runs out of steam about 2/3 of the way in. Will always recommend it. Also, probably the best movie Rian Johnson made still, in my opinion.
Ooh.
I mean,
I can't be there with you with that one. Nope.
For pure Rian Johnson, though, because if you think about his other movies, like I think you're always going to be more of a Knives Out guy.
Yeah, it's probably the first one you watch is your favorite, that whole trope, but even still, I've watched all of them so far.
Unless, of course, the first one you saw was Last Jedi.
Right. Honestly, I would say I'm very close to saying Looper might be my favorite, but I've seen Knives Out a lot more, so it's a tie. Really between those two.
I think if we give Looper some further viewings, that's gonna climb the ranks.
Climb up to the top, yeah.
Yeah, because it is really interesting. It is really well constructed. You can go back and listen to that episode because we hadn't seen it before we did it for the show.
Thinking about Looper.
Even now, this many months later.
Yeah.
Yeah, the man definitely has skills as a filmmaker, and he has not gone down this road of, an M. Night Shyamalan where he seems too big for his britches. I was going through the IMDb page where they have all the photos for different movies, and they had pictures from the premiere of Brick, which was at like Sundance in 2005. It was some film festival.
I did see this.
Rian Johnson looks like such a little dweeb. He's just this guy in like an oversized 2000s shirt with glasses, and he's like, hello, thanks for coming to my film.
I haven't made my money yet. This is how I dress.
Right. And now he is advanced to Oscar-nominated film writer.
Right.
And, I think well-respected director.
Yes.
His next one's going to be another Knives Out movie, so we'll see where that one lands on the canon.
He's got the Netflix money, so
He does. He'll just keep cranking those out. But I hope he does have an opportunity to explore that part of his brain some more. Where we get the Bricks and the Loopers and the ones that you kind of have to watch a few times to really get invested in them. But thank you to Mitch and Blake for sending us those messages.
Yeah,
As we said, you can email us at neverseenitpod@gmail.com or just send us a message on any of the social media pages. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter. Send us a message on any of those platforms because we just love to talk to people about movies.
And we're always on there too.
Yeah, and I like to hear what people actually like. When we watch something like Brick, I half expect that a lot of people just have never seen Brick. But if we can inspire you like we did Mitch to actually watch it, awesome, because that's one more person that gets to enjoy that movie.
And it just so happens that it's available for easy streaming. If it's on Amazon or Netflix or whatever the fuck, that's even better.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going out of our way to make sure to only pick movies that are on streaming platforms.
It sure helps, though.
But it certainly helps.
And you may have noticed a few times we've mentioned that we have patreon.com/neverseenitpod. So if you haven't gotten enough of listening to us here on the regular show, we have 4 more shows, and we should probably expand that definition because we're kind of in the process of fully developing more stuff because there's other things we post on there as well.
I think it's fully developed now. I think we can say we have 4 movie shows and a couple of other ones that are mainstays. We have something called the Conversation Pit, which is based on the fact that Betsy and I love 70s architecture, but that's not what it's about.
No, it's just us talking.
It's
like, we
just
don't
us
always
talking.
just talk about movies. Like, if you can believe it, we have other interests
We
and
do.
thoughts and feelings.
We do. And we just did one, I think, a couple of days ago that is going to be posted in August that is like over 20 minutes long. It's just me and Betsy talking about a topic, let's say. It is not a free-flowing discussion about whatever. There is a theme to each episode. So,
But it's not about movies. So if you just like listening to the sounds of our voices,
the dulcet sounds of Trent and Betsy.
you should come over to patreon.com/neverseenapod. And for $5 a month, you can listen to more of our voices.
You get access to all of it. It's not just for 1 month. You get everything. 6 months plus of content out there, $5 a month.
So much
Go
stuff.
and do it.
So much stuff. But that is going to do it for Signs. But we are continuing on. It is summertime. And what summer would be complete without a summer blockbuster?
Fuck yeah.
Without a new movie, Trent? I am so excited to say that if you were listening on Patreon or at least paying attention to what's going on over there, we did an episode recently about Twister because these two nerdy Midwesterners are really excited about the new movie Twisters.
Twisters is coming next week.
Yeah, by the time this episode comes out, the movie's already out in theaters. You thought we're not coordinated enough to get you an episode immediately, but it's soon after. So we hope you'll tune in next week for Twisters. Until that time, my name is Betsy.
My name is Trent.
And we'll see you then.